What up, what up, what up? It's your boy D back at you with another video. So today we are going over Netflix's upcoming documentary titled Mr. McMahon. This documentary will follow the life and career of Mr. McMahon, who is also known as Vincent Kennedy McMahon. And we're going to cover what his early start, his growing up, how he got a hold of the business, what he means to the business, and the recent scandals that have been going on about his life. Now, I'm going to blend this conversation with a conversation about Vince McMahon's creative versus Triple H's creative, as Triple H, who is now in charge with the WWE. I think this is going to be a while. I'm going to be sitting in this chair for a little minute. So if y'all got time, kick back and chill with me. We gonna talk about it. So this Vince McMahon upcoming documentary is shot by the guy Bill Simmons, who's behind Dark Side of the Ring, which I think is a good thing because Dark Side of the Ring I've always found to be very dope and very interesting in getting this real life look at people. So I really enjoy Dark Side of the Ring. And then this will give like a different access to who Vince is as a human, which we're not really used to seeing in WWE like that. With the scandals, I need to see where we go from here. Unlike everybody else, I'm not going to jump out the gate and start talking shit about, no. I need evidence. Now, show me evidence that this shit is all true, that this shit all happened. Find him guilty. Cool. Absolutely. Absolutely 100%. Because the thing that always just been throwing me is if this lady came out with all this information about all the shit that he put her through, which is horrible. No human should have to go through that. And it was a civil lawsuit. Isn't a civil lawsuit only for money? Why isn't she trying to put him in jail? These are just questions I'm just normally asking. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm asking these questions because I don't know. I'm not a fucking lawyer. So, is it a money thing with this? The acts that he's did that are rumored to have, like I saw those text messages, they're fucking horrible. They're horrible. So like, what is the punishment for him? You know, he lost his company. He lost the WWE. He lost what makes him create, what he loved to do. Okay. Is it more money that she deserves? Is that the thing? Or is it jail time? Like, I just need more information is what I'm trying to say. And that's just how I feel about the case. And the reason why I don't talk about it is because I need more information. I don't know Vince. I don't fucking know Vince McMahon. No. Maybe, I don't know, your Eric Bischoffs or your Conrad Thompsons and your Jeff Jarrett's, your Bret Hart's, who's a hater on just life, period. When you talk about a lot of these other people, these motherfuckers know Vince. They know the backside of Vince. They know who Vince is as a human being. I don't fucking know who Vince is as a human being. I don't know him. So, for me, it's like, just present me with all the facts. I want all the facts. I want all the information. And then I can judge it accordingly. That's just my take on the scandal. It's, show me all the facts first. Because I guarantee you, the things that Vince said can't be the only things left. She could have not played all her cards on that one way. No lawyer would do it. Would just come out guns blazing, put all their cards on the table, and that's it. So for me, I'm just asking to see all the information. I'm just not a jump the gun kind of person. I've never been that person. I want all the facts. I want I want to know exactly what happened, who he is, what he's dealing with, and move accordingly. Perfect example. And then one of the things I realized a long time ago is when you're speaking of some serious shit like that is we idolize people. You know, we idolize people. And after a while, you realize some of these motherfuckers, we don't know these fucking people. What they did for the business and their art is great. Absolutely fantastic. Wonderful. But I don't know these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, we're going to talk about Hulk Hogan for a moment. Hulk Hogan is clearly has said some racist shit in the past. Him calling Kamala and saying she's not Indian or whatever the fuck it was. Some racial shit. Then you got the Trump stuff. Yes. I'm sorry. If you live in 2024, we all know Hulk Hogan racist as hell. I think we all can agree Hulk Hogan is racist as hell. We get that? Cool. But did that hurt me? Knowing, as a black man, did that hurt me knowing Hulk Hogan is racist? No. Did it surprise me Hulk Hogan was racist? Nah, not really. No, not really. And that's just because I don't fucking know him. I don't know him. Like, why would I be hurt? Like, yes, did I grow up on a Hulk Hogan? Absolutely. Is Hulk Hogan one of the biggest stars in the wrestling business has ever seen? Yes. Absolutely. But do I know the motherfucker named Terry behind the scenes and his beliefs? No. Like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I'm not a Hulk, like, for example, Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan is clearly racist, right? Where it's like, all right, know what? Fuck you, Hulk Hogan. That's how I feel. Okay, no, fuck you, Hulk Hogan. If that's what you like, it's fuck you. Period. If I'm having a conversation about the greatest names in wrestling, it would be historically inaccurate to say Hulk Hogan is not one of the biggest stars professional wrestling has ever seen. It would be historically inaccurate if I said that. And I say that to say this. It's the same thing about Vince, right? We as people are loving this Paul Levesque era. Me, myself included. I absolutely 150% love what we're seeing from the Triple H era in the WWE. It's incredible. WrestleManias feel massive. SummerSlam was one of the greatest SummerSlams I've ever seen. Survivor Series is coming up, and the build is hot. Everything Triple H has been doing so far has been clicking. It's been working. It's been beautiful to see. Am I supposed to act like Vince didn't make stars either? Like, what? Like, for example, when you go on wrestling Twitter, wrestling X, when you go on X and you see all these people say all this shit, oh my God, and Vince was holding us back, and okay, and here's how I see that in a couple of these sentences. Do I think the workplace probably at WWE right now is probably a much healthier one? Absolutely. That is, I guarantee you, it's probably a night and day difference after all the things we've heard about how Vince ran shit backstage. I guarantee you it's probably a night and day difference. I can see WWE being a safer place to work with Triple H in charge. I 150% can see that. Absolutely. I will not agree with you. I will not agree with you on that point. Absolutely. Is WWE better today with Triple H than it was with Vince McMahon? Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll agree with that. But I saw somebody say, oh, Triple H will make more stars than Vince. Get the fuck out of my face with that. I'm sorry. Vince never had a good idea. What? We are talking about just in the realm of WWE. No matter what you say, the WWE does not get here or exist without Vince McMahon. Period. Point blank. You think about the names that have come from Vince that are shining like they are right now. The beginning of the Bloodline story. Pretty sure Vince was in charge. Bringing Cody Rhodes back to WWE. Vince McMahon flew to Cody's house to get him back. Pretty sure that was a Vince idea. Kevin Owens winning the title. Pretty sure that was a Vince idea. What do you mean? Hell, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the biggest icon, one of the biggest icons in professional wrestling history. His t-shirt, Austin 316, is still selling out everywhere. That's Vince McMahon. Bringing Pat McAfee in. That's Vince McMahon. And, like, there's probably going to be some fucking weirdo in the comments who's going to be like, oh, you're just a Vince McMahon fanboy. No. But just to say that, like, he had no good ideas at all after the Attitude Era, it's pretty cap. It's lies. That's wrong. It's incorrect. Were there times where Raw was dirt trash? Yes. 2019 to 2020, I'm right with y'all. Raw was terrible. Terrible. Unwatchable. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm right with you. Is WWE in a bet? Like I said, I'm going to say it again. Is WWE in a better place? Yes. 100%. You will not hear me argue that. But are we going to act like for 10 plus years, all we saw was shit from the WWE? No, we're not. We're not doing that. I'm sorry. You look at certain players. This is just the cold hard truth. You look at certain wrestlers. I'm sorry. Daniel Bryan. Without Daniel Bryan winning at WrestleMania 30, is Daniel Bryan as a big of a name as he is now? Don't worry, I'll wait. Like, what? What? Like, you know what I'm saying? And, like, this is such a touchy subject. That's why I'm trying to be careful on how everything I say is exactly what I mean. Like, for example, when I was speaking on the case earlier, I specifically said, I need more information. For example, Brock Lesnar. I need to know what Brock Lesnar's thing was. Was those just text messages that he got offered? Did Brock have sex with the girl? I need to know this information so then I can judge accordingly. That's what I need to know. Because if not, Brock Lesnar is one of the greatest wrestlers ever. Ever. Like, what are we talking about? Like, in this culture, in this era and time we're in the world, when something happens, we don't check sources, we don't read articles, we just jump on it and just go with that. That's the story. No. Like, what are we talking about? Like, for example, like, we are finally in an era that can be considered going against the Attitude Era. Who the fuck created the Attitude Era? That's Vince McMahon. The Undertaker, a Vince McMahon character. The Rock is not as big. The Undertaker, not as big without Vince McMahon. Triple H, not as big without Vince McMahon. Shawn Michaels, not as big without Vince McMahon. The Rock, not as big without Vince McMahon. John Cena, not as big without Vince McMahon. Roman Reigns, not as big without Vince McMahon. What are we talking? Oh my God, I understand that in this world we live in, people have idolized and looked up to Vince McMahon. He's our childhood. He's the guy we knew from our childhood. So when you see that, it hurts. You feel some type of way, wow, he's a piece of shit. Wow, fuck you. I understand. But I always just want to tell people is that some people are just linked to history, and there's no way you can get around it. You can acknowledge that someone did well, and them also still be a piece of shit. Hulk Hogan is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Hulk Hogan is a piece of shit. Period. That's it. If somebody has Hulk Hogan on their Mount Rushmore, you're not going to hear me argue with you. No. Is Hulk Hogan a piece of shit? Yes. Is Terry Bollea or whatever a piece of shit? Yes. Absolutely. But is Hulk Hogan the character, one of the most beloved legends in WWE history? Yes. And this theory of the Attitude Era versus the Now Era, it's very interesting because it's very two different worlds, and that's what to me makes this very cool, because the Attitude Era was just edgy and raw, very edgy, very lot of violence, a lot of language, the sexuality was it was just a little different. It was different. Which, by the way, in ways, I think in this current era, they're still staying PG. They're still doing the PG way, but they're also incorporating more edgier ways to keep their adult audience. I'm sorry. You can't tell me you don't look at Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, this whole Daddy Dom, Dirty Dom story line, and say that's for kids. Get the fuck out of my face. What in the world is kid-friendly when Rhea Ripley beats Liv Morgan in the ring and licks the side of her face? What is kid-friendly about that? It's not. Exactly. My point. It's not. Does it have to be? No. That's the point. So they're using all of those things, but also still having that PG-based breakdown. That PG-based thing. And which they should continue to have that PG foundation even when they move to Netflix, because when the moments where they do go, fuck that, we're going full-fledged, it makes it more better. More eyes will see it. When nobody else is cursing and nobody else is doing all this shit, and then The Rock comes back and says, you know what, fuck you and fuck all those rules. I'm doing it my way. My eyes are on it. It makes more sense. It's a bigger moment. If Tazal walks out there and goes, no, what, fuck you guys. Fuck wants to see, who wants to see that? Who wants to see that? So, I get it. And then you look at the Attitude Era, sexuality-wise, well, also the women, right? You're seeing a lot of bra and panty matches in the 90s and shit like that. Now, this is going to be controversial. Let's be real here. Versus now, women are wrestling their asses off. Absolutely, women deserve to wrestle their asses off. I love the female women today. When you look back But every time I see all these like women who do these wrestling interviews and they're like, oh my god, like they always had the bra and panty matches, da da da, blah 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 blah. They don't ever realize what that time was. It's the 90s. The 90s was edgy as hell. Edgy as hell. The 90s period, not just in WWE, the 90s in pop culture was edgy and sexy. That was the culture. It was going against the grain. Doing the Girls Gone Wild was a thing. Everything was just all edgy and sexy. And WWE went that direction. All the way down there until 2005, maybe? They went that direction until 2005-ish or something like that. It was more adult-based television. And at that point, ass and titties in the 90s especially was one of the bigger things. And do I think Trish Stratus, for example, is a legend to me double more because she made it through all that and showed they can wrestle? Yes. Do I think Fit Finley's one of the best things to come to that women's division? Yes, absolutely. But when you think of the Attitude Era and, people screaming puppies and shit like that, is it cringeworthy now? Sure. Because that's not the world we live in now. But in the 90s, everybody loved it. Because of the times were different. That's the point. The times were different. We're not going to see fucking Bayley versus Blair Davenport in a bra and panty matches. Because nobody wants to see that shit. Nobody wants to see that. No, we're past that era. It's good. Those eras that people talk down upon are what got us to where we are. Which is a great and beautiful thing. It's a great thing. Like, the problem is we speak so negative on stuff, but to forget to realize these are the foundational blocks that got us to where we are now. And right now, we are in professional wrestling, we are eating. Period. That's what I'm saying. And you look at the Attitude Era, you had Austin and McMahon. Austin versus Vince. You can argue. Mr. McMahon, as the character, storyline-wise, keyword storyline, is one of the greatest characters of all time. Period. He's one of the greatest characters of all time, one of the best heels ever to walk the face of the earth. Stone Cold versus McMahon was feeding families. That rivalry, you can argue that damn near that rivalry alone was one of the biggest reasons WCW is out of business today. One of the biggest reasons we're not watching Monday Night Nitro and Starrcade every year. Period. That angle changed the business. Then you have The Rock, D-Generation X, The Undertaker, Ministry of Darkness, Mankind, the New Age Outlaws, the Dudley Boys, Edge and Christian, the Radicals with Guerrero, Perry Saturn, Dean Malenko, Mr. Redacted, name redacted, Chris Benoit. They had rosters stacked. You still had Taz. Then you had Booker T. You had Kurt Angle. You had stars. Absolute stars. A bunch of people who were just over no matter what place they were in the card. And when you look at the WWE now, they have that same exact problem. And that's why they're getting compared to the Attitude Era, because this roster is stacked on all fucking sides. You got Roman Reigns. You got Cody Rhodes. You got Rhea Ripley. You got Liv Morgan. You got Seth Rollins. You got Becky Lynch. You got Charlotte Flair. You got Tiffany Stratton. You got Damian Priest. You got Finn Balor. You still have Gunther. You still have Randy Orton. You still have Kevin Owens. You still have Sami Zayn. You have the younger talent like Braun Breaker and Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams. You have all of these goddamn people. Jey Uso. You have all of these damn people. And no matter where they are on the card, they shine bright like diamonds, and they are just there. And that is exactly why this era can pass the Attitude Era. Because there's so many different ways they can go. And they're selling out and making so much money. It is beautiful to see. Like, oh my God. Like, this is... If you ask me, what era do I like better? It's a very hard question. Why it's a very hard question is simply because there's things I like about each era and then I don't like about each era. One of the things I love this women's evolution in WWE. To me, we're living in the greatest era of women's wrestling and professional wrestling ever. 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 And I still think it can get better. 100%. But I think the women get fair shakes. They're getting fair shakes. If there is a main event storyline where a woman should be the main event, I think they'll be the main event because their storyline is what it needs. Their storyline fits what it needs. And honestly, that's exactly what I think it should be. Period. And now we're there. The thing I liked about the Attitude Era the most is the aesthetic of the Attitude Era. I loved all the goddamn crowd signs. I loved every bit of it. I loved how every moment felt big, no matter who was on the card. And it wasn't like for a while, a lot of wrestling was just wait till the opening segment. Opening segment, you cut the filler out by not watching the middle because nothing was going to happen in the middle. And then you turn back by like 10:45 for the main event. For the main event to see what happened in the main event. That was a lot of wrestling. And it's interesting to see where we are now to where I actually have to sit down and watch the whole fucking show. Because everything has a way of just showing and shining. Look at Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade right now. That is a mid-card match that has been slapping to where we're having a best of 5 or 7 or something like that. And it's going so crazy and the matches are so goddamn good. I love this new era of WWE. I love the Attitude Era. I love the promos. I think the Attitude Era took promos so much more serious than WWE. Some people complain about 30-minute segments and promo. I love that. I'm a promo person. Promos can get me excited for a match. It'll make me want to see the match. It'll make me go, yo, I can't wait till 8 o'clock when this pay-per-view comes on so I can watch him get it. Think about all the promos that led up to like Vince McMahon actually getting his ass beat by Stone Cold. Or The Rock talking shit. MJF, who talks a lot of shit. His promos get you to the match. His promos are what builds the excitement to get you to that next pay-per-view. It is these things that move shows and move mountains. And I still think the Attitude Era as a whole understood that more to where I want to see to where the wrestling side of it, I see WWE's current vision now does a lot more better wrestling matches, card to card to card. Wrestling matches are better now than they ever were because I think talent has evolved, so they're more athletic now. So with the talent and the in-ring work here and the Attitude Era's promos here, once this generation starts to bring both together, it's when we're going to see something we've never seen before. I know that this was a long-ass video. Like, I've been talking for a long-ass time. But I just thought this was important to really cover. Because in this next documentary that comes out on September 25th, we are going to see so many goddamn news reports and so many podcasts about the documentary. So many fanboys are going to come out talking about this. The one thing I want my Forever Gang to do is when they're watching this documentary, listen to the goddamn documentary. If there's new facts presented that you didn't know that comes out about the case and stuff like that, accept them. See things from both sides. Accept them and understand that all this shit that's going on with Vince McMahon does not make you any less of a wrestling fan. If you're going to be a wrestling fan, be proud of being a wrestling fan. Period. If you still rock with the WWE like I do after this crazy documentary comes out, rock with the WWE 100%. Stand on business. If you're going to say fuck Vince McMahon after this, just stay on business. But you can understand. But understand you can say fuck somebody and want nothing to do with them. But also realize we're not here without them. Period. Just tell the truth. You know, that's what all I really want to do. And that's why I gave that very deeply, that Hulk Hogan example. I don't fuck with Hulk Hogan at all. The racist shit he was doing from the past and what he be doing now, me personally, I don't fuck with Hulk Hogan. But if I'm doing a greatest wrestlers of all time list, Hulk Hogan is going to be in the top 10. Or I'm not doing my job as a wrestling man. That's just how I see it, man. That's really just all how I see it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If y'all want to have a discussion about this, please hit me in my comments below and we could talk about this whole shit. I duck, no smoke. But Forever Gang, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I hope y'all have a great day. And until, please like, comment, and subscribe. And until forever finds you,